Hello. It's Howell. Hello. Hi, Corgi. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So, I love you too, Corgi. So, here's what we're doing today. First, I have a few announcements. Most of these you've probably heard from, like, last stream with Minra, but I just want to say them again, because I'm happy about them. So first, I have a desk, and my monitor is now front and center for the first time in, like, ever. Oh my gosh, is that Keyblade? Hello, Key! It's been so long, hi! Yeah, I have a desk now. Thank you, Corgi, for getting me a desk. And a chair. I don't have a crappy chair that's falling apart anymore. And so now my streaming is so much better. It's so comfortable now. It's actually comfortable to stream? What? I didn't know this was a thing. So, let's see. All of last week, I kind of took off of streaming because a special someone that got me a desk was visiting. And then, now it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. I know I haven't streamed too much for Pride Month, but happy Pride Month. Today, we're gonna be doing a very special game. I have a bit of a history with this game. Basically, where do I want to start my my conversation about this game? Rewind time to when I was an egg. You know what? Fuck it. We're switching the gaming screen so you can see what game it is. You can see it in the stream title anyway. Hi, we're playing Heart of the Woods. We're playing Heart of the Woods. So, yeah, my history with this game. Basically, rewind time back to when I was in college, I think senior year of college even. Back when I was an egg, back when I was, I didn't have too strong a concept of, like, what a trans girl actually is, other than a vague conceptualization that they exist, and I've seen, like, maybe 2 of them in my life at that point. One of my kind of idols, like a person that I looked up to, ended up doing a Let's Play of this game, Heart of the Woods. And back then I wasn't too sure about, like, if I was super into, I wasn't too sure if I was super into, like, visual novels or anything. Like, they didn't seem super interesting to me. Like, I think the only visual novel I'd never played a visual novel. I still kind of haven't. I did play a little bit of, Class of 09 before I realized that game is not for me. But, I don't know, Heart of the Woods was such a captivating story. I remember being sad, being happy, being excited, being like, all sorts of emotions I felt as I was watching my favorite, like, person on Twitter that I had some vague interactions with at that point, play this game. And it also threw a bit of a curveball at me because one of the characters is actually a trans girl. and it's explicit. And, you know, as an egg, I think that maybe had a little bit of a crack. I don't know. But yeah, for Pride Month, we're gonna be playing this visual novel, Heart of the Woods. It's been many, many years since I last saw that playthrough. I'd never played this game myself yet. And it's like, I don't know, how do I, hi Vam. It's like, I don't know. I'll let the game speak for itself, but there is one last point I want to make here, which is, a lot of people have been complaining about the heat. We've got a bit of a heat wave going on in, like, the world right now. I don't know about the whole world, but definitely in, like, a lot of the US, we're suffering from a heat wave. This game is set during the winter, so hopefully this will be, like, a nice breath of fresh air to you all. Okay, anyway. Let's get into this. Let's start Heart of the Woods. Chapter 1. A Winter Wonderland. That's how this place was pitched to us, out in the middle of a forest with an unpronounceable name in a village that time forgot. In the email, it sounded like every other ghost hunter's paradise that we get a message about. Isolated and antiquated, with a tourism board encouraging pokey effects and gaudy billboards. The vast majority of those emails go unanswered. If Tara weren't so capricious, this one probably would have too. But no. Something about journeying to the middle of nowhere for a month struck her fancy. And like always, I let myself get dragged into it. So here I am, for the last time. On board a lonely train to the village of Eisenfeld, Tara and Maddie sit in... I'm gonna probably say both Tara and Tara. I don't actually know how her name's supposed to be pronounced. Tara, maybe? Sit in uncomfortable silence. Maddie has blonde hair and red glasses, that's her right here, and wears a green jacket. Tara has layered red hair and a black hoodie with a t-shirt of the moon. Tara is sleeping while Maddie is looking out the window. The train beats out a slow, monotonous rhythm beneath us. It's an older machine, the sort that looks like it's supposed to take us to wizarding school, or that should be in a museum. When I bought the tickets, I thought we'd be getting on something a bit more modern. Oops. I shift in my seat, the tattered cushion and wooden boards doing little to soothe the pain in my back. We've been on this train for 12 hours, and I can feel every one of them in my bones. Here's Tara. Tara's been out for the past 6, upright but fast asleep. If the bumpy ride bothers her, she doesn't show it. The paperback she was reading dangles low in her hand, in danger of losing her spot in the book. Uh-oh. Are you getting buffering? Hopefully you're not getting buffering. Doesn't seem to be on my end. I scuff my feet across the floor, kicking at nothing. Hi, Spock. As tired as I am, I'm afraid for our journey to end, for Tara to wake up, to have to talk to her. I'm almost offended that she can sleep. She should be as preoccupied as I am, fighting off intrusive thoughts and wondering what to say. You wouldn't know from looking at her that we've barely spoken for 3 days. That's how long ago I told her that this would be our last trip for the show together, and that I was quitting once we get back home. Everything since then, packing, booking our tickets, finding someone to take care of the cat while we're gone, happened in a blur. We've been cordial, but that's it. My heart hurts, but it tells me I made the right decision. Yawning, I lean back against my seat and pretend it's comfortable. The cushions are unnoticeable, nearly as firm as the wooden floor beneath us. A heater in the corner hems and haws like an old man, but it's not nearly powerful enough to fight off the chill. I desperately wish that I could sleep too, but one of us needs to be awake when we get to the station, and that should be any minute now. Plus, I've never been able to fall asleep on planes and trains anyway. My eyes are sore, and I rub one of them as I press my cheek to the cold window. Outside, it may as well be another world compared to the city we left behind. If not for the moonlight, I wouldn't be able to see anything. But the soft, white glow makes the snow and nearby forest glisten like it's under some sorcerer's spell. I get the reference, Corgi. Trains, planes, and automobiles. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a pop culture reference right there. A winter wonderland. The trees are all bare, save for the blanket of snow that covers them. Their empty branches look like something out of a kid's Halloween movie, shaking in the wind as if possessed. They seem to stretch on forever, farther than I can even see. It's more like an ocean than a forest. Morgan certainly wasn't exaggerating when she said this place was remote. Intermittent lights flicker amongst the trees in the distant darkness, which I assume come from either winter campers or hermits. I'd call them crazy, but I'm about to be in the exact same spot. I agree, Key. Yeah, we should have a much more train-centric society. For the safety of our world. Something catches my eye, way out in the woods. One of the trees, barely visible, seems to shake in a different way than the rest, as if blown by a different breeze. Hi, Pie. Trans-centric and train-centric, they're about the same thing. Hi. A thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the outside of the window as I push my face against it, turning to try and find whatever it was I saw. It's gone, though. It was almost certainly never even there to begin with. Either my eyes were playing tricks on me, or the moonlight was. I sigh and sit back again, allowing my eyes to barely close. I won't fall asleep. I'll just... I'm jostled back into alertness as the train lurches harder than before. There's a shrill whistling sound, and then the shudders of the train grow stronger as we begin to slow down. The driver hits the brakes. We're almost there. Is Vam giving me a treat? Okay, I'll have a treat. After I have a sippy of water. I love the music in this game, and the art is gorgeous! Anyway, I have a brand new box of the same peanut butter cookies as before, because... what puppy doesn't love peanut butter cookies? So let me just help myself to some of these. And then... ASMR time. Yep, puppy munching ASMR. Hang on. It doesn't want to get out. It doesn't want to get out of the package. Come on. You are getting into my mouth and you're gonna like it. Okay, there we go. These taste so much better when they're not stale. Oh, that's so good. Yep. That's a very good point, Corey. I will do my best to look into freezing them. If I remember to. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Thank you for that treat, Vam. That was delicious. Anyway. Across from me, Tara is undisturbed. Somehow she hasn't dropped her book. Apparently, she's less clumsy when she's asleep. Through the frosted window, I can see the lights of what must be Eisenfeld as we approach the station. They're few and far between, like scattered stars. The buildings appear to be placed sporadically, nestled on and around the hill. As we round a bend, the village goes out of sight once more. I can't really put this off any longer. I lean over and shake Tara's shoulder.
Hey, wake up. We're almost there.
Without opening her eyes, Tara mumbles a response. Was that loud enough for you all, by the way? Could you hear the voiceover? Let me know if I need to turn it up at all. It was good? Good.
How close is almost?
Seriously?
I don't know. Couple minutes?
Okay, I'm getting up.
She isn't getting up. The music could go down? Okay. Turn down the music a little bit. Hopefully that's better. She isn't getting up.
I mean it. If you sleep through the stop, we're just going to...
I'm up, Mads.
Maddie looks over at Tara, who raises her head from the book. She finally opens her eyes. I cut off the end of my sentence, not sure if I was serious or not. We're not even there yet, and we're already snappy. God, I wish I could sleep. Just a little longer, I tell myself.
You excited?
Little bit.
Lie.
You?
Kinda nervous still.
What is there to be nervous about? We've done this 1,000 times.
Yeah, well, this isn't like those other 1,000 times. And you know that.
She shrugs again, not meeting my eyes.
I don't know, Maddie. I'm sorry. Let's chill.
Yeah, sorry.
We lapse into silence. At least when she was asleep, it wasn't awkward. I just want off this train. I want to be distracted by going to the cabin and taking in the new sights. Any minute now.
Hey, listen.
Yeah?
I know you're, like, not super thrilled to be here.
She pauses, likely hoping for me to disagree. I don't.
But let's just be cool, okay? Let's just try and have a good time.
I breathe a deep sigh and let it out slowly. She's right. I'm committed to this trip. I can at least make it easy on myself.
Yeah, okay. Sorry for getting bitchy. I'm tired.
I feel ya. Hey, how do I look?
Like you just slept for 6 hours on a train.
That bad, huh?
She messes with her hair in some attempt to improve its state. The results are unnoticeable at best.
Hopefully it's good enough for Morgan.
Fisher.
Morgan Fisher.
If she's meeting her online hero or whatever, then I doubt she'll care that your hair's a mess.
God, I hope not. I don't want to end up on some fashion faux pas vid. For real though, if she's super fangirly, then let's just let her get it out of her system and hopefully she won't make things weird later.
Making things get weird later is kind of our specialty though.
Yeah, true. But hey, it got us to 250,000 subs, so like, we must have been doing something right.
I just nod. I still can't help but fixate on how everything she says is past tense. It's over after this. It's fully my decision. All I have to do is say the words and things will go back to normal. I doubt Tara would ever bring it up again if I ask her not to. It'd be so easy. Heart of the woods. We step off the train and into another world. A frigid wind saps the heat from my body almost immediately, as if it had been waiting until we arrived to pelt us until our skin felt like it was burning. I instinctively wrap my arms around myself to try to preserve what little body heat I have left, but it doesn't change a thing. I might as well not even be wearing a coat for all the good mine does. As nice as it is to have the moon keeping things from being completely pitch black, I could really go for some cloud cover right about now. Anything to keep some warmth around us. Tara doesn't even notice the cold. Armed with nothing but her signature jacket, she seems immune to the chill. She oohs and ahs all over the rustic train platform like there might be a ghost hiding in the rafters. She's got train autism. She clearly has train autism. Yes, winter! Yeah. It's a game set in the winter. I figured a lot of people would appreciate having a game that's set in a cold environment during the summer heat. Take your mind off the current weather. Just a minute later, the train rumbles off into the night, leaving us behind. Not a single passenger boarded. Tara watches it go, nodding in approval. Train autism. Look at that face. She has train autism. She likes trains.
Okay, this place is already killing it in terms of atmosphere.
It's like she's completely forgotten the uncomfortable energy that had filled the train, back to her usual overly excited self. I should probably be bitter, but instead, I can't help feeling jealous of how she can just shake it off. She has a little pocket camera that she's been carrying with her, and she uses it to take a few pictures of the inky blackness surrounding us. I glance upward at the lights which hang from the ceiling. They're small candles lit with real flames, as opposed to electric. One of them has blown out and swings uselessly in the breeze. And it looks to me as though ad break is about to start, so I'm just gonna hang out and chat while the ad break finishes itself, and then we'll get back to reading the game. So how are you all liking the story so far, and the setting, and the art, and the music, and the everything? This game is just art. Like, yeah. Honestly, I highly recommend this game. It's like, it's beautiful. The music is great. I love how it opens on a train. Like, I love trains. I don't know if I make this clear enough, but I love trains. Welcome to ads, by the way. Yeah, trains are really cool, and like they get to ride in on a train, and then they like arrive in a sort of like winter wonderland, and you know, these two, Tara and Morgan? Was it Morgan, or was Morgan the fan or the narrator? I can't remember. I'm bad with names, if you can't tell. But yeah, basically they're like, so far here's kind of what we know about them. They are like some sort of YouTube channel type deal. They've got like 500,000 subscribers. Yeah, it was Morgan that they were talking about. I cannot remember the name of the narrator, even though it's probably been on the screen. Maddie, isn't it Maddie? I think it's Maddie. Yeah, Tara and Maddie are like co-hosts to some sort of like YouTube channel thing, and Morgan is apparently a big fan of them, and she like invited them to this place. I don't know if they've like fully discussed it yet, but essentially what their YouTube channel is, it's like a paranormal investigations channel. So yeah, having like something brought them out here. It's probably ghost stuff, or it might not be ghost stuff. We're not sure yet, but it's yeah. It's cool and interesting and fun and cute. There's a bit of drama going on since Maddie seems like she doesn't really feel like continuing with, you know, being on this channel. Like, she doesn't feel like keeping up, and being a part of everything, which is a little sad, but you know, sometimes people just have to retire if they're just not happy with their current situation or anything, you know. It's a thing that VTubers have to encounter a lot, where we occasionally, you know, every once in a while someone graduates because they just aren't happy streaming. And that's okay, but it is sad. Yeah. Anyway, welcome back from ads. Let's continue the story. What happened? I'm just chatting. Yeah, everything's fine. I'm just chatting about, like, what we know in the story so far. Because I was just chatting during, yeah, I was just chatting, like, during the ad break. one of your favorite streamers hasn't technically graduated, but she's been rarely streaming lately, and you miss her a lot. I feel that, like, at least a couple of my friends that I met in the early days of me VTubing, like, they never officially graduated, but they just kind of disappeared. They're not super active on, like, on social media anymore. They don't really stream ever. They have not streamed in about 3 years now. And it's sad. But what can you do? Yeah. Yeah, no, streaming is better as just like a hobby, in my opinion. Like, you can try and work your way up there, but it's a grind. It's such a grind. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone has their different energy when it comes to streaming. That is kind of one of the reasons I couldn't stream as often as I wanted to when I was in Japan, because, like, you know, when I was dedicating 40 hours of my week, I just couldn't come home after a long day and be like, okay, I'm gonna stream now. I just needed that time to, like, unwind and relax, and, like, maybe I'll stream on Sundays if I feel like it. That was basically it. But yeah, anyway, shall we get back to the story? Let's get back to the story. They're about as ineffective at keeping away the darkness as my coat is at keeping me warm. Talking about the candles, by the way. Hi, Circe. The low light will surely ruin Tara's photos, but she's snapping away without a care.
You know none of those are actually going to be visible, right?
She ignores me. I should probably just let her enjoy the moment.
This place really does feel super eerie. Listen.
I do. And it soon becomes apparent what she's referring to. The silence. All around us, it's quiet. Even the sound of the train has faded, leaving us in total solitude. The flickering lights of Eisenfeld seem impossibly far away, but I know it can't be more than a half-hour's walk.
It's so quiet. Isn't that cool? We're definitely not in Kansas anymore.
That's one way to put it.
I strain my eyes and ears looking for any hint of Morgan, who's supposed to be picking us up. You'd think the sound of a car's engine would carry pretty far out here.
For real though, I think this could be the place where we finally get some hard evidence. Something solid.
She says this every time, but she usually sounds like she means it more.
Just look at it. Something's gotta be out there. I can feel it.
We both look off towards the trees. From the train, it was difficult to see where they ended. Here on the platform, it's impossible. My expectations aren't any higher than usual, though, which is to say, non-existent. I wonder if Tara really believes what she's saying either. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet.
That would be the perfect send-off, wouldn't it?
Her words sting. Damn it. Not here. Not already. I want to try and deflect away from this somehow, to set her back on her path. Let her enjoy this moment without me spoiling it.
Who knows? Maybe this will be the one that finally gets you a con panel so you don't have to crash someone else's.
That was one time, and their panel would have sucked without me.
Her voice has an edge of her typical bravado again. It's a relief to hear. She returns to her camera, and I give myself a moment to try and take in my surroundings. Supernatural or not, there's something oddly serene about this place. That said, I'd like it a lot more if it wasn't so damn cold. I shiver and cross my arms even tighter. Surely Morgan will be here soon.
I can't wait to see the village tomorrow. I hope it's like one of those museum exhibits with the little replica towns and people.
In what way?
Like, architecturally.
She sounds out the words slowly.
All rustic and old-timey.
I can't imagine that it'll be that different from home. They've got to be modern enough for Morgan to watch Paranormal after all.
Paranormal, that's the name of their show.
If you're expecting people to be walking around in monocles and waistcoats, you're gonna be disappointed.
Here I thought I'd finally get a chance to show off how amazing I'd look in a top hat.
I'm sure you'd be the teen heartthrob of the Victorian era.
She gives me a brief snort of amusement. Her responses feel more muted than usual, but the fact that we're still able to banter is a good sign. I'm glad that I can cheer her up, even if I was the cause of her low mood in the first place. However, after a moment, she looks back at me. Her expression is serious for once.
Okay, so about Morgan. Like I said before, let's give her a chance to get all the excitement out of the way first. We should be nice and friendly, but let's try to keep it professional.
I never thought I'd hear you, of all people, say that.
I find myself flashing back to all the unprofessional situations I've had to extricate Tara from, ranging from bad one-night stands to an actual police custody. There are lots of ways I could describe Tara, but professional is definitely not one of them.
Hey, I usually make a good first impression. It's just the second impression and beyond that you've got to watch out for.
I laugh out loud at that, and I catch her smirking before she looks away. She can play it cool all she wants, but I can tell from the way she's bouncing up and down that she's undeniably excited for this fangirling she mentioned. It's usually one of her favorite parts. I'm sure a little ego boost will go a long way right about now. I can feel myself hopping back and forth slightly as well, but that's more out of a desire to keep my blood flowing. Yep, base trans girl doing something arrestable, we love to see it. Thankfully, it isn't too long before I can see the silhouette of someone approaching through the storm.
Oh, thank God.
It's gotta be her, right?
Given that we're the only people out here, I really hope so.
As the girl gets closer, she gets easier to see. She's not exactly an imposing figure, but she moves with purpose. She's carrying a large thermos, which she raises in greeting as she approaches. Morgan has orange hair, green eyes, and a handmade sweater. She doesn't emote as she approaches the girls on the empty train station. I wave back. Thank you for the hydrate, Corgi. One of the first things I notice about her is that for some ungodly reason, she's not wearing a coat. All she's got on to protect her from the frigid weather is what looks like a hand-knit sweater, much like Tara. Once she reaches the platform, she greets us with nothing more than a tired smile and a small nod. Not exactly the geeking out Tara was expecting.
Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late.
Her voice is friendly, but flat. She sounds like she hasn't slept in days. Tara looks a little bit taken aback by how subdued she is. Recovering quickly, she puts on her big celebrity grin.
Oh, no worries. Are you Morgan?
That's right. It's really nice to meet you, Tara.
Morgan's smile does seem to grow warmer as she greets her, but her face quickly regains a neutral expression for a moment later. Also, she called her Tara, not Tara, so I'm gonna try and make an effort to remember to call her Tara. She does. Honestly, it's pretty cute. I like Morgan. She's cute. Tara is also cute. Maddie's also cute. They're all cute. They're all cute. I can see Tara's smile faltering as she realizes that this is clearly the maximum amount of geeking out this girl is capable of. To her credit, she recovers well. I like you and you're really cute, Corgi.
Likewise. Charmed, I'm sure.
Okay, maybe not that well. Tara extends her hand and Morgan gives her a brief handshake before turning to me.
You're Madison, right? I think we spoke online already.
Just Maddie is fine. Nice to meet you.
She shakes my hand as well. It's a firm, friendly handshake that ends as quickly as it began. Before she continues, she takes another sip from her thermos. I find myself wishing for a cup of coffee too.
It really is nice to meet the two of you. I'm sure you receive a lot of invitations, so I'm glad you were interested in mine.
Are you kidding? Remote village in the middle of a huge forest? There's no way I'd pass that up. I've heard all kinds of stories about the things you'll find in places like this.
Hopefully not too many, or I won't have anything new for you.
Oh, I'm sure you've got something I'll be interested in.
Real smooth, Tara. So much for being professional. I can see Morgan's mouth twitch slightly at the comment. I can only hope it was something closer to a smile than a grimace.
Tomorrow I can show you around the village. There isn't too much out of the ordinary there, but I'm sure you can find a few things that interest you.
That would be wonderful. We can go sightseeing when Tara isn't off chasing spirits around in the woods.
Morgan and I both smile. Tara flashes me a look of mock annoyance for the slight. But it's probably eating her up that I've gotten more of a reaction out of Morgan than she has.
It's about a half-hour's carriage ride to the cabin if you guys want to head out. Do you need help with your bags at all?
Tara lifts her bags, giving Morgan another shiny grin. I'm pretty sure I see her accidentally flex her arms too.
Don't even worry about it. I got this.
Okay, cool. This way.
As we follow her, I can see Tara pouting behind her. I've never seen the wind get taken out of her sails like that. At least that gives her another thing to think about besides my departure. Wait a second. Did she say carriage?
No way.
We're standing in front of an honest-to-God horse-drawn carriage. If it weren't for the little white puffs of breath coming from the horse's nose, I'd be willing to believe that it was some sort of commemorative statue.
This is so cool. Is it yours?
It belongs to my family. Given that there aren't any roads through the woods, there isn't really a point to anyone out here owning a car.
I move closer, examining the craftsmanship as best I can in the moonlight. The design is fairly bare bones, but a few flourishes here and there are some semi-ornate painted finishes to make it clear that this was something built with love and care. Horseable cities, yeah! Somehow, I'm the only one who seems intrigued by our ride.
Tara, come take a look at this.
As I speak, I look back and see her standing completely still as if the cold has her rooted to the spot.
Give me a sec. I'm just taking in the view a bit. From a distance.
She's trying to act nonchalant, but her wide eyes keep flickering towards the horse. Her previously genuine grin has turned into a very nervous grimace. Slowly inching forward, she scoots further away from the horse as she approaches the carriage. I doubt she planned for part of her first impression to be Morgan learning that she's absolutely terrified of horses. Hi, Alpha. She had better at least learn to tolerate them, or this is going to be an even longer trip than I expected.
Wait, if this is the only way through the woods, how are we going to get back and forth between the cabin and the village? Don't tell me we'll have our own carriage. Neither of us can drive one.
Oh, I'm going to be driving you. I can take you back and forth and help you navigate the woods. You didn't expect me to just let you wander around a forest in the middle of nowhere without a guide, did you?
You're cooking dinner? Hope dinner has gone well. Tara, still slowly making her way towards the carriage, does her best to give me a look of excitement. If anything, it resembles the look of a panicked hostage. The fact that she's still trying to play it cool is almost admirable in its futility.
You're sure that's not any trouble? I'd hate to inconvenience you any more than we already have.
It's no trouble. I run my own shop, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I'm more than happy to help.
Welcome back, Corgi. She looks over at Tara, who has finally made it within a few feet of the carriage. She shoots us both a thumbs up.
I have a feeling she might need it.
You're making salmon patties, rice, and navy beans. I've never heard of navy beans, but that does sound like a delicious dinner. If it weren't for me being vegetarian, I would love salmon. Like, I've had salmon. Salmon is good. It's like one of my favorite fish. But, yeah.
Trust me, you have no idea.
Morgan turns and deftly swings up into her seat, taking hold of the reins. Tara finally manages to place her hands on the carriage and climb up to sit alongside her, shaking all the way. I let out a sigh of relief and follow suit, mounting up next to Tara. But clearly you're next to Morgan. You're not next to Tara, you're next to Morgan. It's a little cramped up here, but I'd feel weird just sitting by myself. Besides, not keeping an eye on Tara is a pretty guaranteed way to make an even worse first impression.
So, can you do any tricks in this thing?
I don't think I've ever had tilapia. I'm not like a huge fish eater, and not just because of the vegetarian thing, but just like in general, I never really ate fish all that much, but salmon was at least one that I like kind of ate occasionally that was pretty good. I also like tuna. The path to the cabin turns out to be a complicated one. We've been making twists and turns through the trees for a few minutes, but Morgan seems to know exactly where she's going. Not even the dark can stand in her way.
You can navigate through all this with just that little lantern? How can you see landmarks?
Don't worry, I know these woods better than just about anything. Besides, the moonlight is more than enough for me.
I can't help but feel embarrassed as I think about all the times I had to use the flashlight on my phone just to find something I dropped in the car. I definitely wouldn't last out here. Looking over, I can see Tara bouncing her leg, probably about to launch into a torrent of questions from Morgan. After that flubbed introduction, she's clearly a little less gung-ho than usual, but I know that won't stop her. As such, I should probably get the handling of the actual adult stuff out of the way quickly before it gets lost in the noise.
Is there anything about the town or the people that we should know? Local customs, things to avoid saying, that sort of thing?
Morgan thinks about it for a moment, silent.
There's a curfew at midnight. Also, you're not supposed to go too far into the forest. I ignore both of those rules a lot. Most of the villagers tend to be sticklers about them, though.
Great, so our host is a troublemaker. I guess that means Tara will be in good company.
So, while we're on our way, could you maybe tell us about some of the specific supernatural occurrences you've seen here so far?
Here she goes. You're nervous for the 24th? What's happening on the 24th, Alpha? Morgan sits up at the question. She looks over towards us and her eyes seem to lose a bit of their constant drowsiness. She's been waiting for this.
Well, we have a lot of freak weather events. Strange storms that appear and disappear, or are localized to certain parts of the forest in ways that shouldn't be possible.
Going to the dentist to get your top left wisdom tooth removed. Yeah, I hope it goes well. Wisdom tooth removal isn't fun, but, like, when I had mine removed, they had to remove 6 teeth, because, like, 2 of my bottom teeth weren't growing in all the way, so they removed those as well. So they removed, like, 6 teeth at once, and I was, like, hurting for about a week, maybe a little bit more. But really after, like, the first few days, it's not too bad. Yeah, like, take some painkillers, sleep a lot, and yeah, make sure you have plenty of soft foods to eat. But I'm sure it'll go well. Anyway, they've got some freak weather events and storms. Tara nods solemnly, already totally enraptured in what Morgan is saying.
Sometimes when I walk in the woods, I can see strange lights here and there, like tiny little stars inside the forest. I've never been able to get close to them, though.
I raise an eyebrow, but don't say anything. We've had countless cases of strange lights before, all of which have ended with a rational explanation. That doesn't seem to damper Tara's spirits, though. I start to drift off. This is more Tara's jurisdiction anyway, so I'm sure they can just wake me up when we get there.
There's also my cat.
Your cat is a supernatural occurrence?
She can talk, so I'd say so.
Her words snap me out of my trance. Looking over at her, I expect to see her holding in a laugh or sporting some kind of mischievous grin, but her face is as serious as it's been since we arrived.
Your cat can talk? Like, talk the way a human does?
Yes, she's very well spoken, in fact.
I try to hide a sigh. Weird weather and lights in the woods are ambiguous enough that we can play along with them. But every so often we get these blatantly fake claims too, like a talking cat. Tara, however, instantly perks up once her words sink in. She can't actually believe her, right?
So, could we talk to her? She won't mind if I ask her a few questions, right?
I was hoping you'd ask. I think you'll be very interested in what she has to say.
The whole thing is clearly some kind of joke, but Tara is absolutely taken in. I can practically see the wheels turning in her head as she plans out her follow-up questions. That's never good.
So, do you have any ideas about what could be causing it? Something in her diet, maybe?
I don't think so.
Have you been feeding her some kind of special Eisenfeld cat food? Can I try some?
The trans girl wants cat food. Okay, have a good date, Key.
Okay, I think that's enough of that.
When Tara starts talking about eating cat food, it's time for me to exercise a little diplomacy and move the conversation forward. Crazy or not, I think we should move on.
So, what kind of things does she talk to you about?
Just about our lives for the most part. I figure you'd be better off hearing it from her rather than me.
I'm sure that'll be illuminating.
I'll say, if there's something that paranormal in the village itself, you must have seen way crazier stuff in these woods.
Ooh, you're doing a Portal 2 co-op. That'll be fun. Portal 2 is a very fun co-op game. So I hope you have a good time. She starts to gesture as she talks, pointing back towards the village and swinging her arms around as she mentions the woods.
Well, there's one pretty major thing, but you probably won't believe me.
I wouldn't have come out here if I didn't believe you. Anything you have to say, I want to hear.
I can't detect a hint of cynicism in her voice. Either she really believes this girl she just met has a talking cat, or she's giving a performance worthy of an Oscar.
Are you sure?
110%. Lay it on me.
She winks at her and flashes her finger guns back in celebrity mode. Tara's good at recovery with these things, but I've never seen her recover on this level with such speed. Meow, 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 meow. But as I watch her lean in towards Morgan to make sure she catches her next statement, I realize another possible reason for her passionate response. If there's one thing she loves more than hearing strange stories, it's trying to impress a cute girl. Now things are starting to fall into place a bit more. I feel that. I like cute girls. I want cute girls to like me.
Well, one of the main reasons I called you out here is I'm not sure if it has a name, but it's some kind of forest spirit.
I like you too, Corgi.
Spirit? Like a ghost or something?
No, something physical. Some sort of massive creature. Like the forest came to life.
Okay, this is new. Even the crazier fans don't get this outlandish. But Tara is absolutely eating it up. No matter what her reasoning is, I'm glad she's having a good time.
Is there anything else you can tell me about it? Does it speak or anything? Have you managed to interact with it at all? Is it more kaiju-sized or more basketball player-sized?
I've only seen it once, unfortunately, so I don't know too much about it. I've searched for it a number of times since, but without any results. Who knows? Maybe you two will have better luck than I have. That's what you're best at, isn't it?
In terms of talents, I'd say it's certainly up there.
Morgan's mouth turns up in a small but seemingly genuine smile, and her expression grows slightly less intimidating.
I knew you'd believe me. Nobody else around here does.
I can't imagine why. I feel a pang of guilt as that thought crosses my mind. As crazy as her story sounds, it can't possibly be easy feeling rejected in a community this isolated. No wonder she was so eager to bring us into the fold.
So, how far away would you say we are from the cabin?
We should be coming up on it any minute now. I'll help the two of you get situated and then head back. I'll be happy to tell you more about the spirit tomorrow.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, great. That's great. I'm exhausted.
That much isn't a lie. All I want to do right now is pass out. We've passed the last of the houses that I can see, but the sparsely marked path continues on towards the forest. The last traces of civilization are behind us now.
By any minute now? What exactly did you mean?
I can't keep the biting tone entirely out of my voice.
Just ahead. See?
She points forward into the darkness. I strain my eyes to see anything other than murk. Finally, I spot the faint outline of a small cabin practically swallowed by the forest. I'm glad cute girls like me.
I started the heater before I left to get you, so it should be warm.
Very nice.
That's what I like to hear. You're like Prometheus.
Prometheus. We have a trans girl who knows, Greek mythology.
I'm surprised you know who that is.
Why? I love that movie.
Morgan suddenly jerks the reins and the horses come to a stop. Tara and I are rattled from our seats and nearly fall forward.
Damn it.
What happened?
Rather than answer, Morgan just glares into the darkness where the cabin is. I strain to see what she does as my heart starts to race. Is it a wild animal? A bear? A wolf? There's the sound of footsteps as a shadow detaches itself from the cabin and moves towards us. A human shadow. An older woman comes into view, stopping just at the edge of the lantern's light. A stern, older-looking woman steps out from in front of the cabin. She has the same orange hair as Morgan. She's clearly related to Morgan. Her angular features and steely eyes, barely visible in the dark, make her look like she stepped out of a Baroque painting.
Why are you here?
I came to greet our guests.
She spits the word our, clearly asserting some sort of ownership. I suck in an involuntary breath as she approaches. Being able to see her more clearly isn't a reassurance. If anything, it's the opposite. Something about her radiates hostility. Even the horses seem uncomfortable, their ears pressed back as they stamp their feet in the snow. Up close, her gaze is sharp and fierce. Her face is proud but sunken, cheekbones jutted in as if her face doesn't quite fit. It makes her look older than she is.
Which of you is Tara?
Mouth drawn thin, she looks from me to Tara and then back again. Each second that passes makes the discomfort grow. I keep waiting for Morgan to intervene, but she doesn't. Tara and I exchange a quick, nervous glance. Then she clears her throat and leans forward, offering a handshake.
That's me.
The woman regards Tara's outstretched hand for a moment and ignores it.
Welcome to Eisenfeld. My name is Evelyn, the mayor. Who are you?
Her attention flicks to me like a hand on a clock.
I'm Maddie. Madison. Tara's manager?
I see.
It's clear that she's judging us, though I have no idea on what.
Are you done yet? They're tired. You can interrogate them later.
I love Tara's expression here. Just what exactly is she volunteering us for? Interrogate is kind of a strong word. Our host makes absolutely no effort to disguise the loathing in her voice. In a town as small as this one, I can't imagine that speaking to someone as important as the mayor like that is a good idea. Though, Evelyn appears entirely unfazed. She remains in the middle of the trail, blocking our path. She and Morgan stare each other down while Tara and I sit in painfully uncomfortable silence. After at least a minute, the mayor finally steps out of the way and heads back up the way we came.
We'll speak later.
It's clearly a command, not a request. The carriage sits immobile until the sound of Evelyn's footsteps are lost to the night. And even beyond that.
So she seems nice.
Hi, Brooke. Her statement seems to snap Morgan back into the present. Morgan flicks the reins as we begin moving again. She turns around to face us, looking genuinely apologetic.
I'm so sorry about that. I thought she'd at least wait until tomorrow, and I'd have some time to prepare you beforehand.
Corgi, thank you for the gift sub to Brooke. Thank you. Corgi's a sweetie pie.
Is she your mom?
Technically.
What? No way! How could you tell?
The family resemblance?
Morgan purses her lips.
Unfortunate, isn't it? Long story short, I didn't tell her that you were going to be staying here until this morning.
I'm speechless, hoping that this isn't a joke, hoping that it's just a joke and the punchline fell flat. But Morgan's clearly serious. For the second time in a handful of minutes, I'm wondering what we've gotten ourselves into. Tara laughs, though I can tell it's forced.
Well, it's no big deal, right? It's not like she runs your life.
Silence.
Right?
Eventually, Morgan nods.
Right. We shouldn't get into it right now, though. I'm sure you'd rather sleep tonight.
I can see Tara gathering the breath to disagree and tell Morgan that we'd love to hear all about her family issues right now. So I head her off.
Yeah, we would.
Okay, Corgi. Whatever family drama it is that she's gotten us involved in, it can at least wait until I'm not about to pass out. The carriage comes to a stop just a few feet away from the door. A small stone path. Yawn. A small stone path has the snow cleared away from it and leads to a short flight of stairs. We're facing a large window, although it's dark and impossible to see into. Hi, Amber! It's a snackerfice. What do you mean by that, Amber? What's a snackerfice? Hi, Amber. Morgan vaults out of the carriage, nimbly landing on her feet.
I'll unlock the door. Your luggage already came in too, so it's inside.
Tara launches herself out of the carriage, just like Morgan did, and then she quickly scurries away from the patient horses, eyeing them for any sudden movements. I climb down as she stands an extremely safe distance away.
I can't carry all of this on my own, you know.
I toss her bag and she lurches to catch it, barely keeping it from landing in the snow. We stand back and watch as Morgan fiddles endlessly with the lock on the door, pushing and trying over and over again. Now that we're so close to the end, I can feel the last of my reserves of energy rapidly draining. The bags in my arms feel like they weigh 1,000,000 pounds.
So, what do you think?
She mutters as quietly as she can, though her timing couldn't be worse.
I think I want to go to bed.
Same as ever, then.
You know me.
Rubbing my arms, I peer into the forest. Just beyond the first few lines of trees, everything fades into an inky blackness, thick and impenetrable. I shiver, not entirely because of the cold. A cool breeze rattles the empty branches as they scrape against each other, mimicking the way I'm trying to stay warm. Silly Amber. Finally, there's a banging sound as Morgan solves the mystery of the lock and nearly falls through the door. She pokes her head back through like nothing happened.
I got it open.
Hallelujah.
Ooh, this looks cozy. I haul my way inside and into the blessed warmth. It's been so long since we've been near a working heater. A small lamp on the side table casts a bit of light over the small room. Our luggage, as promised, is scattered haphazardly around the living room, just like home. Tara slips past me to bounce around and examine it all, her bags hurled as carelessly as I pulled them out of the carriage.
Oh my god! Holy shit! This is so cool!
There's nothing really out of the ordinary, so I just stand there and wait for her to get it all out of her system.
Isn't this the coolest? It's like staying in a history museum.
That's the kind of thing you'd usually treat like a punishment.
Are you kidding me? I love history. We even did that whole series on the history of cryptids in the American Midwest.
American Midwest! Ah! Midwest mentioned. Also, a trans girl who's obsessed with history. I like Tara.
And I spent like 3 months on that special about Bigfoot's impact on the Great Depression.
That's one of my favorite episodes. I had never heard of the theory that FDR was a cousin of Sasquatch.
To be fair, I don't think FDR did either.
Morgan laughs, and I just roll my eyes.
I mean the kind of history that actually happened.
History is doomed to repeat itself, Mads.
I don't even respond. That whole episode felt like the plot of an awful low-budget B-movie. Instead, I cross the living area towards a tiny hallway with a pair of identical doors.
These are the bedrooms?
That's right. They're the same size, so there's not much of a difference.
Guess I'll take this one then.
I push open the closer door. Inside, it's just 4 walls with a bed, a shelf, and a small dresser. I drop my bag on the floor and roll my suitcase in. Tara lingers in the living room, talking about the features of the cabin with Morgan. Suddenly, I hear her yelp in pain or horror. I rush back out, knocking over my suitcase and nearly slamming into the door as I go. I half expect to see Morgan holding a bloody knife or something, but instead Tara's just holding her phone.
What happened?
A tragedy. Actually, worse, the apocalypse. Check out your phone.
I do as she says, expecting a news article or an alert or something. But there's nothing.
What? I don't have anything.
Exactly. No service out here.
I check. Sure enough, she's right. There isn't the barest trace of a signal at all.
What about Wi-Fi? I assume we have that, right?
Technically.
Oh no. I stocked up on books and downloaded a bunch of new films before we left since I wasn't expecting to have much connection out here anyway. But I'm willing to bet the thought never even crossed Tara's mind. Good thing I packed a few books I think she'll like too. Tara glumly pockets her phone again as Morgan gives us a small smile.
Let me give you the quick tour.
I don't think it's entirely necessary since we can see everything ourselves, but I don't stop her.
This is the kitchen. There's a stove and an oven. The stove is somewhat picky and doesn't always like to work. Actually, I guess it's the same for the oven.
Don't worry, I don't know how to cook anyway.
Over here is the fireplace. I can show you how to chop firewood sometime if you'd like.
I think I might pass on that one.
This is the couch. You can also sleep on it if you'd like. It doesn't unfold into a bed or anything, but I sometimes come here and sleep on it anyway.
That doesn't even surprise me.
The Wi-Fi password is on a note by the phone. So is my phone number, so you can reach me anytime. Do you have any questions?
I shake my head and look at Tara, who does the same.
I think we're good. Thanks for all your help tonight, Morgan.
It was my pleasure. Again, I can't thank you enough for coming all the way out here. I'll be sure to make it worth your time.
I'm sure. Can't wait to get started.
Me either. But I should probably be going for tonight. I've kept you up long enough as it is.
She heads out the front door, waving goodbye.
Night, Morgan. Thanks again.
Good night.
Through the large window, we can see as she starts to make her way down the path.
I'm gonna go to bed too.
Yeah, same.
We switch off the lamp as we head to our respective rooms. Tara grabs her bags from the floor where she tossed them.
All right, see you in the morning then?
Yeah, night.
I shut the door behind me and she does the same. I sway like a zombie as I stalk towards my bed. It takes the last of my strength to dig my pajamas out of the suitcase and change. There's a window here that looks straight out into the forest. The first thing I do is pull the curtain shut. Yeah, what kind of trans girl vacation is this if we're not all in the same bed? Well, unfortunately there's a bit of drama between Maddie and Tara. Crawling into bed, I face away from the window and pull the blanket up to my chin. It's heavy and warm, and I wrap it around myself like a burrito. The bed is firmer than I'm used to, and the pillow thinner. There are like 3 other blankets though, so I ball one of them up and use it as a second pillow. As I try to get comfortable, my thoughts start to drift off. A detached part of me is glad that the timing worked out well enough to avoid jet lag. And in all, aside from the Wi-Fi, this is pretty nice as far as accommodations go. Especially since we're not paying for it. It seems strange that Morgan would come all the way out here just to take naps sometimes. But I can already tell that most of what Morgan does would be considered strange. Strange, but harmless. I don't mind. But when I think of her mother, the mayor, a chill runs down my spine, and I bundle myself even more tightly in the blankets. I should give her a second chance, though, especially if she didn't have any warning about our arrival. It stands to reason that she'd be annoyed at Morgan renting out her family's cabin like that. When I think of it that way, her reaction seems pretty justified. Ugh, yawning again. I'll just be extra polite to her next time we meet. Hopefully it isn't an interrogation like Morgan said. That was probably just her being dramatic. I yawn, wishing sleep would come faster. I expected to be out before my head even hit the pillow, not lying here with my thoughts racing. I try to block out everything and focus on my breathing. In and out. In and out. In. A loud tap 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 on the window cuts through the silence. My heart leaps to my throat as I bolt upright in bed. I get tangled on the blankets, scrambling to haul them off me. Yeah, no, I'd be out of there too, Amber. Yeah, no, I can't stand the sound of, like, creepy noises at night. Yep. With one hand, I desperately feel for my glasses nearby. I finally find them and shove them onto my face, nearly jabbing my eye out. With horror, I look to the window, the one that made me uncomfortable from the start. It's Morgan. Lantern in hand, fist raised against the glass. She stands there patiently. If she knows what kind of emotional roller coaster she just put me through, she doesn't show it. Shakily, I walk over to the window, not even switching on the lamp. With some difficulty, I wrench it open, disturbing a small mound of snow.
Yes?
It's the best I can manage. Anything longer, and I'm not sure I could keep it civil.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Please be ready to go by 8, and I'll come pick you up.
I just blink, unable to comprehend what I'm hearing.
Is that okay? We could make it 8:30, but no later.
No, 8 is fine. Is that all?
That's right. Have a good night. Sorry if I disturbed you.
I slam the window shut and hobble back to bed. She doubled back in the snow and scared the hell out of me for that? I check the time on my phone. It's nearly midnight. 8 hours to sleep and then be ready to go. It's going to be a long month, isn't it? It's 8 hours and 34 minutes later. I know because telling time is my phone's only remaining function. Yet, I still check it constantly like something might change. True to her word, Morgan was there to pick us up right at 8. It's a minor miracle that Tara and I were both ready to go. I don't know who had it worse, me waking up to my alarm, or Tara waking up to me banging on her door. Even now, she slowly eats a piece of bread from the kitchen, looking for all the world like I'm a cow chewing cud. Oh, like a cow chewing cud. With each bump that the carriage hits, my tiny cup of coffee threatens to spill onto my hand. I'm not sure that I'd feel it. After answering Morgan's perfunctory question, that's a word, questions about our first night, we spent the rest of the ride in silence. She didn't acknowledge at all how she had knocked on my window. Apparently, it wasn't remarkable enough for her to deserve another mention. I watched from over her shoulder now as we approached the town. From the train last night, the scattered lights made Eisenfeld appear to be a lot larger than it really is. Now in the daylight, I have to strain my eyes to pick out some of the buildings against the hills and snow. Tara's missing it all, staring at her feet. Crumbs litter the floor beneath her. Morgan guides us along a path that I'm pretty sure is the same one as last night. A few villagers move out of the way of our carriage, not even turning to look. It must be a regular occurrence. Even though it's hard for anyone to see us in here, I still feel self-conscious. I clutch the bag of camera gear tighter to my chest, hiding myself behind it. There aren't any other carriages on the road, nor anything bigger than a pushcart. So we still stand out, at least in my head. And while ads are happening, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. A little break from reading. And let's unpack what we read over the last hour or so. So, how are y'all liking the story? We've got Tara being Tara. We've got Morgan. There's something going on with Morgan's mom. Honestly, I'm not seeing too much of interest. It's really just like, oh, like, clearly there's some familial baggage, you know? Typical mom who's, like, in charge of everything, and child who doesn't get along very well with her mom. Like, I don't get the whole thing with Maddie being all like, oh, well, you know what? Clearly there's something weird going on with her. Like, I don't see any, like, supernatural anything with this. It's literally just, oh, hey, I'm a mom, and I do mom things, and my kid doing kid things, and we don't get along. But, yeah. Now, yeah, waking up in the middle of the night, or not even waking up, but like, as you were drifting off to sleep, just hearing a noise coming from your window is terrifying, and it has happened to me before. No, it has never been just like a person on the other side, it's always just been like, you know, probably a squirrel, or like the wind or something, but it's still, like, scary when it happens. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of waking up to, like, random noises. Back when we had rats, it was the sound of scurrying feet coming from under my door. I do not miss those rats. I don't miss them one bit. They made falling asleep really difficult. Anyway, welcome back from ads. Let's continue on with the story. If the situation is at all awkward or out of the ordinary to Morgan, she doesn't show it. She pulls the reins and the carriage comes to a stop in the road. There aren't many other people up here, but what few there are give us a wide berth.
And here we are.
Tara finally perks up, the words clearly spoken for her benefit. It takes her a moment to realize that we've made an entrance, but as soon as she does, she's in showbiz mode. She leaps to her feet, throwing off the exhaustion like a disguise.
Here we are indeed.
She vaults out of the carriage, spinning circles like we were in the middle of a grand plaza instead of the middle of the street. I climb out more carefully and then scurry out of the way. Welcome back, Corgi.
Okay, this rules.
It really does feel like we've traveled back in time. The buildings, all built from wood and stone, look like they've been there for centuries. The road that we're on and currently blocking is made of cobblestone. It winds its way through the town despite being covered in well-tempered snow.
We're certainly a long way from home.
Morgan doesn't disembark from the carriage and instead calls down to us.
The town square is right down this road, but if I take you there, I won't be able to turn the carriage around. It's always a pain when that happens. I'm going to open up my shop, but feel free to come by whenever you'd like. I'm sorry I can't show you around right now, but I'll make it up to you later.
Where's your shop?
Oh, right.
She pulls a piece of paper from somewhere and dangles it towards me. I cross the road and take it from her. Unfolding it, I can see that it's a map. Despite being hand-drawn, it's pretty coherent and legible. Certain buildings, like Morgan's shop and the local pub, are denoted by handwritten tags. At the middle of the road, where we're currently standing, she's even drawn in a helpful "You are here" notice with a smiley face. She clearly planned this well in advance.
Cool. Thanks.
Feel free to stop by around lunch. I'll make you both something.
Hell yeah! You're the best, Morgan.
Thanks.
Morgan gives us a brief wave before heading off to wherever it is you park horse-drawn carriages. I point in the direction of the town square that Morgan mentioned, wanting to get away from all the people who are currently gawking at us. We definitely stick out, if only because of our colorful hair and clothes. Combined, their outfits have the color palette of a bowl of oatmeal. Although they stare, nobody really says anything, either too polite or too intimidated. Both Tara and I avoid eye contact with strangers as we hurry to the empty town square.
Well, that couldn't have gone worse.
There are a million ways that could have gone worse. If people looking at us funny is the only downside of this trip, then it'll be our best episode yet. I mean, ever.
I wish she'd stop bringing that up. It always kills the mood, which was barely on life support to begin with. Tara rubs her shoulders, having stubbornly chosen not to dress any warmer today.
Okay, ready to get your Terranormal on, Mads?
I shrug my camera bag onto my shoulder and nod.
I suppose there's no harm in spending a little time establishing the location. Might as well get some B-roll while we're here.
One thing that both Tara and I have in common is that we're not really sightseers. I spend as much time in my room as I can, whether that's the hotel room while we're filming or my bedroom at home. So as much Tara loves investigations and all the dramatic stuff, she'd probably totally skip the exposition segments if she didn't leave them to me. That means that we're pretty efficient at filming them. An overlay simulating a video camera appears on the screen while Maddie is filming. I turn on the camera and slowly turn a circle, capturing the ground, sky, and some nearby buildings for footage that we can splice together later. I do a slow pan across some of the houses, then frame and hold a shot of the path further into the village. A young couple passes by, holding hands, and they share a suspicious look at the camera as they go by. Guess I'm editing that part out later. Most of the time, making paranormal videos is just me finding ways to stretch 10 seconds of interesting footage into a 10-minute video. That's something else that we're both good at. The cold wind makes it harder to keep a steady grip, so I stow the camera and shove my hands into my pockets.
Get anything cool?
Unable to browse on her phone like she usually does while waiting, instead Tara watches from over my shoulder as I record.
Not really. There's not much to see here.
Yeah, it's kinda less impressive up close.
It's the kind of place that you'd expect a tumbleweed to blow through, like if the climate fit.
Wow, you're turning into quite the poet.
Oh, shut up.
What? It was a compliment. Anyway, since filming the village is a dud right now, we should follow up one of the rumors Morgan was talking about the other night. I'm thinking giant tree spirit.
That's the most interesting one she talked about for sure. That's the headliner. We need to build up to that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Picture this. We head to the woods to get some creepy shots. Do it right around sundown. Make it super ambient. Lots of atmosphere, wind sounds, maybe a wolf howl. You've got a good wolf sound effect we could use, right?
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I do a narration over all that, introducing where we are and what we're out here looking for. Then we get a sound of a big branch snapping, and just cut the video right there.
Thank you for the hydrate, Corgi. Tara looks pleased with herself and glances back at me for approval. It takes me a minute to react.
So, end the video on a cliffhanger?
Yeah, I think so. We can definitely stretch the Eisenfeld stuff into a mini-series or something. We should be able to get at least 3 episodes worth of stuff out here.
That sounds fine. A snapping branch is a pretty weak way to end it, though. Especially since, like, we uploaded the video. No one's going to wonder if we're okay or not.
Oh, that's true. So you think maybe we just make one long vid? Or end it differently?
Maybe a different ending. I'll think of something later.
Cool. You're the best, Mads.
I smile, but it hurts a little. I'm sure she's not trying to make me feel bad. She probably doesn't even know that I do. I just shrug, wanting to change the subject.
We can also follow up on some of the smaller rumors. Like, in her email, she mentioned mysterious lights out in the forest.
Like a will-o-wisp? Aren't those actually real?
You're the expert. You should know that, not me.
Tara stares at me expectantly.
Yes, they're real, but it's just swamp gas. It doesn't matter though, because we need to wait for nighttime for that stuff. It's not very spooky during the daytime.
In that case, we definitely want to talk to the locals. See what kind of rumors they've heard of, that kind of thing.
Right, that's definitely the smart thing to do.
We both face towards the street we came down, where Morgan dropped us off with all those nosy people, who just stared back at us, but wouldn't talk. Awkwardly.
Or we could get some more establishing shots from other parts of the village.
I like that idea.
We pick a direction at random and start walking. As we head further into town, it starts to get more lively, and there are more people around. That might just be the time of day, though. A couple folks shovel snow in front of their homes, a group of kids run up and down the street, accompanied by a sagging basset hound. A woman wearing what appears to be an entire bear forecoat shuffles past us. Wherever we go, the villagers watch us unabashedly. No one makes any attempt to talk to us, and conversations fall silent whenever we come near. I wonder if there was some sort of order given to not speak with us, or if it just happens naturally. I try to force myself to ignore it. We're not doing anything wrong, we're just a curiosity. The only interesting thing about us is our out-of-townness. Morgan said that there are rarely ever any visitors here. It's not hard to imagine why. There doesn't seem to be much worth visiting. Still, if they're going to keep this up, it's going to make these interviews even harder to do. Tara taps me on the shoulder, nodding in the direction of some of our observers.
Is it just me, or is there kind of a creepy serial killer vibe going on here?
Oh my god, can you not?
Hey, I'm just kidding. Just trying to lighten the mood a bit.
My reaction having ruined any chance at that, neither of us speak again. I unpack the camera again and film a few of the storefronts as we go. As long as I'm surreptitious, that's a word, surreptitious enough, most people don't notice and thus don't change their behavior. Inevitably, whenever someone does see me filming, they tense up and just stare, ruining the take. It's like they've never seen a camera before. Maybe that's not far from the truth. One thing I have to give to Eisenfeld's credit is that there's more personality in its construction than I thought at first. Most of the buildings seem to be people's homes, but it doesn't take us long to find a few stores here and there. The names are simple and plain, like you'd read in a tabletop RPG book. Heinkel & Sons Tailoring, a butcher shop named the Hearty Sow, that sort of thing. When we pass by a tavern called the Bushy Beard, I can hear Tara snickering behind me.
Do you think they have barmaids?
What?
Like the sexy Oktoberfest kind? Do you think they have those here?
Tara's words are so out of nowhere that they takes. I think that's a grammar issue. Tara's words are so out of nowhere that they take me a second to mentally process. Yeah, that should either be take, singular, or it, instead of they.
This isn't a Renaissance fair, Tara. I'm pretty sure they just wear normal clothes to work.
Tara's mouth gapes wide open.
Wait, what? Back up. Ren fairs have sexy barmaids?
Where else did you think they come from?
I have no idea. I always thought those things were just full of boring stuff.
What? Not at all. They have swordplay demonstrations or time period appropriate foods. Some local experts will give talks or lectures on certain topics, and...
Like I said, boring stuff.
Whatever. There's more to it than just cosplay. I bet you'd actually like it if you went with me next time. Plus, I thought you loved history now.
Not the boring kind of history, duh.
How are swords boring?
Whatever, Mads.
She walks away. How did I manage to lose an argument she started? We cut a slow but steady course through the village. Despite how random the layout seems, it's impossible to get lost. All the roads seem to lead back into each other. I'm so used to the sounds of busy intersections and highways that the near silence here is almost unnerving. I can appreciate the serenity and calm of it all, but I think I'd go crazy if I had to live here. We're not even a full day in, and I can't help but miss my cozy apartment and the convenience of city life. Eventually, we take a path that brings us back to a familiar sight. The town square that we visited right after Morgan dropped us off. According to my phone, it's been a bit over an hour since then. Still too early to meet up with Morgan for lunch. I guess we can't keep putting this off any longer.
I think I have enough of the town now. Do you want to start interrogating the villagers?
Interviewing.
I didn't even notice myself misspeaking. I must still have interrogations on the mind after meeting the mayor last night. Tara poses dramatically, hyping herself up for the camera. I'm not even recording yet.
Time to put my game face on.
As long as it's a game face that people want to talk to.
Mads, when have I ever been anything but charming?
She sighs.
Yeah, I know. I'll keep it chill for these so we don't freak anyone out. But, like, how do we do this? Just go up to people and ask if we can chat?
I guess. I don't have...
Ow. Hang on, I accidentally right-clicked. I guess I don't have any better ideas. This is how we usually do it. Except, usually, people are more curious about who we are and what we're doing. Sometimes, after introducing ourselves, there are even people who have heard of us. That is definitely not the case out here. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan was the only person in the whole village that uses YouTube. The only thing more awkward than just asking random people for an interview is them staring silently while you approach. But we don't have any other options. I hand the mic to Tara. At least I'm not the one who has to do the talking. Tara stands there with mic in her hand. And stands there.
You good?
Yeah, I am. Just give me a sec, okay?
Okay.
She psychs herself up by stretching and taking a few deep breaths. The whole time she holds the mic pinched between two fingers like it's something she just peeled off her shoe. Once she's finally ready, she gives me a thumbs up and starts to walk again. I trail a couple meters behind, keeping her back framed in the middle of the shot. She moves with a determined stride, but I can see the microphone shaking in her hand. We pass by a few people walking around, but she doesn't stop any of them. Nor does she have any of the folks outside the buildings chatting or working or just sitting and looking bored. Just up ahead, a middle-aged woman smokes a cigarette, looking at nothing and no one in particular. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere, and she's not already in the middle of a conversation. She's the perfect candidate, and Tara must know it too. I wait for her to go up and introduce herself. I stand still and hit the record button, filming her approach. Except, she doesn't. She walks right past the lady, whose gaze follows as she goes. I pause the recording and hurry to catch up, hissing Tara's name. I have to say it twice before she hears me and stops.
Sup?
What are you waiting for? We've passed like a dozen people now.
Right, but none of them are the right one.
Which one is the right one?
You know it's impossible to tell. I'll know when I see them.
I roll my eyes, but I don't chastise her. She's trying her best.
Oh, okay, here we go. Get ready.
I follow her line of sight to figure out her prey, an older man resting on a bench nearby. Broad-shouldered and with a long beard, he looks like a stereotype of a lumberjack. Like the previous woman, he stares vapidly off in the distance, though clearly elsewhere. Thoughts clearly elsewhere. Once again, I plant my feet and set up the shot. I make micro adjustments to the focus until I get it just right. The rest is up to Tara. Slowly, Tara approaches the man. Either he doesn't see her coming, or he ignores her. She glances at me for reassurance, which I give in the form of a single smile and a nudging motion, telling her to get on with it. Yawn. She clears her throat, grabbing the man's attention. He turns to her slowly and eyes her suspiciously. Then he notices me and the camera, and he tenses up. Not off to a good start. Tara talks quickly, trying to explain the situation.
Hi there, my name's Tara Brick. My friend Maddie and I are visiting from out of town doing a report on Eisenfeld. I was wondering if we could ask you a few questions.
Report? What kind of report?
He relaxes just a little bit. The man rubs his eyes warily, peering back and forth between me and Tara. I wish he'd stop looking directly into the camera. I slowly start to move laterally, trying to frame the two of them better, but he keeps shifting on the bench to watch me.
It's an investigation on the supernatural. Rumors, ghost stories, that sort of thing. We've heard a lot of legends about Eisenfeld, and we're looking into them, trying to figure out what's true and what isn't.
Figure out the truth, huh?
The man mutters darkly, his beetle-browed eyes still flipping between me and Tara. He chews his lip while he thinks about it. Something about his face strikes me as odd, but I can't figure out what it is. It's probably just a trick of the camera or the light.
Well, alright. I suppose I've got the time.
It takes Tara a beat to respond. We were both sure that he was going to tell us to bug off or worse.
Great, thank you. So, can you tell me about Eisenfeld? Just what is life like here? On an average day? That sort of thing.
Clearly she isn't expecting to get this far, and asks the first thing that comes to mind. She offers the man the mic, but he just stares uncomfortably until she retracts it.
Right, well, it's a good little town. Good and proper. Quiet. Real quiet. That's what I like about it. None of that city business. No noise and bustle. Out here, it's just you and nature. That suits me just fine, it does.
So you're from around here then? Spent your life in Eisenfeld?
Born and raised, and God willing I'll die out here too. Never thought about leaving. Never had a reason to.
Great, great. So then I'd imagine you know all about any local legends, right?
About as well as anyone. Any old village has got its stories. If you believe them all, there's goblins in the woods, trolls in the mountains, and who knows what else elsewhere.
Yeah, I get you, Corgi. He's got kind of a gruff voice.
Of course, it's only children who believe in those.
So you've never seen anything weird yourself? Nothing unexplainable?
Weird like what?
By now, the man has abandoned looking at Tara entirely, and instead focuses on the camera, his eyes looking strangely focused.
One of our friends here mentioned something about a big forest spirit, like a walking tree kind of thing.
He sits up from his slouch, finally turning to face Tara.
What friend of yours might that be?
She's from around here. One of the locals.
Even though we gave her a shout out on one of our videos, Tara's reluctant to name Morgan as our contact. It makes sense. Her neighbors surely feel different about us than our viewers do.
I'll bet it was the Fisher child, wasn't it? If you know what's best for you, you'll steer clear of her. Nothing but trouble comes from that one. Nothing at all.
Tara and I exchange a glance. Seems her thoughtfulness was irrelevant. At the same time, I'm suddenly a lot more interested in what this guy has to say.
Why do you say that?
It feels like a strange violation of privacy to be asking this stranger his opinion of our host, but if she's notorious enough that anyone on the street knows of her, then perhaps we're better off knowing why. Spitting into the snow, our subject stands and turns his back to us.
There are some questions you ought not be asking, miss. I'll be going now. Enjoy yourselves.
He lumbers off into the town, though I don't watch him for very long. Questions we ought not to be asking, huh? I'm not sure if that's a threat or not. For the sake of my anxiety, I try to tell myself it's not. I join Tara on the bench, doing my best to avoid the puddles of melted snow.
That was something.
That's putting it nicely.
I don't know what that was either. Maybe Tara's right. It was something.
You get it all?
She taps 2 fingers against the camera in my hand.
Of course. All 2 uncomfortable minutes.
I wasn't given a lot to work with there.
I replay the recording, with Tara leaning over to watch along with me. It's not any less awkward the second time.
Well, we already knew we need to talk to a few different people. Just got unlucky on the first one. Know what I mean?
Tara stands up, but I remain seated.
Still need another minute?
I don't say anything. I'm trying to think of what to say.
Hello, Earth to Maddie. Please respond.
I'm thinking.
My voice is too harsh and snappy, and we both know it. I play through the clip again, this time without Tara watching. Something still seems off to me, and it's not just the gruff way he left.
Look, we knew Morgan was a bit weird. All of our fans are weird. That's why there are fans. In a tiny little town like this, of course anyone who's different is gonna have a reputation. That doesn't make Morgan a bad person.
I'm not saying she's a bad person. I didn't say anything. But if you had to ask, I'm sitting here thinking that it's really freaking shady that a guy just guessed we were here with Morgan, and then that he up and left as soon as he found out. That's not normal. That's not something that's happened to us before.
Great! That means we're on the right track. If they're hiding something, then that means there's something to hide.
Have you completely lost your mind?
This is ridiculous, even for Tara. I can understand her wanting to give Morgan a chance, but to actually buy into her nonsense? Tara nods and looks down at her feet, brushing some snow off her shoes.
It's only been a couple hours, Mads. He's just one old cranky geezer. Please just try to have some patience on this one, okay? For me.
I check my watch. It hasn't even been 2 hours. That only makes her more right, as much as I hate to admit it. Sighing, I place my head in my hands.
It's okay.
Wait. What did I miss? I clicked through that. Sorry, I'm still tired. After a long moment, I stand.
Wanna find somebody else?
Guess we oughta.
We traipse wordlessly through the town a bit more. I keep the camera stowed. I'll set up when we find someone. Now that we've been burned once, I start to understand why Tara is so reluctant to speak to anyone. What once seemed like people tightening their clothes against the cold now seems more like turning their shoulders toward us. A suspicious number of folks look away from us to cough. The amount of times we pass by the same place certainly doesn't help our appearance. By now, there are a few especially chatty villagers that have seen us pass by at least 4 times. It takes another 15 minutes of looping around town before we find another candidate. A pair of girls, about our age, are waiting outside a shop. Inside, a third girl is talking to the shopkeeper. People our age are going to be our best bet. One of the waiting girls sips from a small mug of what I assume is coffee. Girls, yeah! She sees us and nods her head in greeting. That's the nicest reception we've gotten so far.
What about them?
Worth a try.
This time, I approach with Tara. I let her take the lead, but I follow close behind, forcing myself to smile in order to seem more approachable.
Excuse me.
The talking girl and shopkeeper turn towards us at the same time. Their conversation snaps off immediately.
Excuse me. Hey there.
Hello.
Coffee girl. That's a good name. The girl next to her leans in to whisper something in her friend's ear, but doesn't talk to us.
Hey, so my friend and I are here from out of town.
We know.
You want to be coffee girl? You are coffee girl. They both giggle to themselves.
We're filming a documentary sort of thing about Eisenfeld, and I was wondering if I could ask you some questions.
Thank you for the hydrate, Corky.
Eisenfeld? Why here? What about it?
Well, we're doing a video about any sort of rumors or local legends that you might have out here. Ghost stories or that kind of thing.
The two girls talk to each other in low voices that I can't pick up. The quieter girl is muttering something, and the girl with coffee is agreeing and nodding along. As one, they turn to face us again.
I don't think there's anything like that out here. This isn't that kind of place.
Not a single one. When you were kids, your parents didn't tell you stories about things that lived in the forest? You've never been out late at night and seen something you can't explain?
We're not allowed out late at night.
Right. There's a curfew.
The girls go quiet, nodding to themselves. Sensing a dead end, Tara changes her tactics.
Do either of you know a girl named Morgan? She's the mayor's daughter.
The first girl, the one with the coffee, grins at that and pulls at her companion's arm. The other girl swats her away, face turning pink.
Oh, I'm pretty sure everyone knows her.
She smiles devilishly at her embarrassed friend.
Some of us better than others.
Lesbians.
What's she like? Why is she so famous?
She isn't that bad. She's just...
She's trouble and you know it.
Hang on, I feel like I clicked through something again. Staying out after hours, sneaking around town. She spends a lot of time out in the woods, too. Sometimes overnight. What do you think she's doing out there? And then, if there's a particular conclusion we're supposed to have reached, it's lost on me. Still, it can't be coincidence that we're 2 for 2 now on people being weirded out by Morgan. 3 for 3 if I count myself.
Do you think there's something out there?
The two girls blink as if their reaction was planned.
something like what?
Tara shrugs.
No idea. Like I said, that's what we're researching.
I don't think you'll find anything like that here. I'm sorry, but this isn't a very interesting place.
Right.
I stride away, leaving her behind. I head into a corner between two buildings out of sight of the girls we spoke to. Tara catches up and then leans against the wall next to me.
That didn't go much better.
Really, you think? Was it just a coincidence that these two other random people we met happened to have the same opinion of Morgan as the first? She didn't tell her mom, the mayor of the whole town, that we're going to be staying in a cabin that her mother probably owns. For a month. She rambles off stuff that makes any one of our videos look like an episode of Scooby-Doo, and then the next morning just dumps us off in the middle of the village. We haven't even been here for a day yet. We've seen our host for like an hour tops, and we were practically asleep for most of that. How am I supposed to have a good opinion of her so far?
Well, yeah, she's gotta work. Come on, Mads, have a little faith. What's the worst that can happen? The lead turns out to be nothing like the other 200 times before. Some girls gossip about us, an old bum tells us to get lost.
207. And the worst part is that the whole town hates us while we're stuck here after spending thousands of dollars to cross the world. To live in a wood cabin with no phone service and barely any internet. For a month. You've got to see the problem here, Tara.
Tara sighs and throws up her hands.
Okay, so what? What is it that you want me to do? We're here and you hate it. I get it. So what's the solution? What is it you're hoping for here? Like I said before, let's just deal with it. Make the best of it we can, and try to have some fun. That was the whole point of this thing. It was supposed to be fun.
If she's trying to encourage me, she's doing a terrible job of it.
Whatever. Let's just get this over with. And this time, don't mention Morgan. If nobody here likes her, then you're probably better off not bringing her up.
I can see that she wants to say something, probably argue, but then she deflates and nods.
Okay, no Morgan.
She goes quiet for a moment, staring off into the town. She takes a breath and sighs, visibly relaxing. She starts to lead the way, not looking back at me. I feel a sharp pang of guilt as I stare at her back. I did promise to try, and here I am again, making everything worse.
Tara.
She stops in place.
Sorry. Again. Really.
She smiles a bit sadly, but shrugs.
I get it, Mads. We're cool. Let's go. There's a lot more paranormal in our future.
Tara and Maddie exchange a small smile before continuing their march on. Eisenfeld seems to have been built so that no matter what, you're always walking uphill. We make our way up yet another one past a low, crumbling wall and a few more houses. Yawn. As we make our way up the street, a bitter-looking old woman with a broom stops what she's doing and eyes us. We've walked this part of the road several times now, but she wasn't here before.
Hey you! Who are you? You aren't from around here?
The last part is definitely a statement, not a question. Tara slows down just a bit to mutter beside me.
Looks like we found number 3.
Tara immediately puts on a friendlier face as we approach.
Good morning, ma'am. You're right. We're not. I'm Tara, and this is Maddie. We're here doing a research documentary on Eisenfeld. Would you mind if we asked you a couple questions?
About?
Some of the local legends and rumors from around here.
I'm actually afraid that she's going to say yes because I can already tell this is going to end as badly as the last two. I've decided how to answer Tara's question of what I want. I just want to go back to the cabin and be bored. At least it's not awkward and uncomfortable in there.
Yeah, alright.
Oh no.
Great, thank you. So, we've been hearing a lot about stuff out in the woods, like...
You are? Who told you that?
We've been interviewing a few people this morning, and it's something that came up a few times. Stuff like lights, strange noises, that kind of thing. Have you ever witnessed anything like that?
Never.
She looks around again, then steps just a little bit closer to us.
Look, I'm going to tell you this now for your own good. No one around here wants any trouble. We all just want to live our lives in peace. That's what Eisenfeld's all about. Mayor Fisher does a damn good job keeping things nice and orderly around here. We keep to ourselves, and I expect the two of you to do the same.
She nods solemnly, the interview clearly over. Just as useless as the other two. As we go, Tara waves over her shoulder.
Thanks for your time!
And then, so only I can hear her,
Bitch.
cute corgi. As we walk away, I can tell it's not necessary to say anything to Tara. She trudges along beside me. Annoyed as I am, I still feel bad seeing her so bummed out. Maybe it's finally starting to sink in.
So now what?
She asked me that after the second interview too.
Now... I don't know. Let's go to Morgan's shop and eat lunch.
Wait, for real? You want to go see Morgan?
Mostly I want to go see what Morgan makes for lunch.
I'll take it. But hey, can you
I'll be cool. Don't worry.
She smiles, relieved.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I know you will.
I take out the map that Morgan gave us this morning. But by now, I've been through the village enough times that I can mostly navigate there by memory.
What kind of shop does Morgan run? Do you remember?
I think she said it's an antique shop?
What do those places even sell?
Antiques. Lots of furniture that's been around for decades, or random stuff like books and glassware.
That's oddly specific.
My mom's into antiquing. She always says you never know what you'll find.
We should do an antique episode of Terranormal someday. We can have your mom on as a guest star.
I'm sure she'd love that.
Do you think Morgan sells anything really out there? Like a possessed baby doll? Or a cursed sword?
Who would want to buy those kinds of things?
The same people who go to Ren fairs.
She got me. I can't help but laugh. Tara grins, enjoying the feedback.
Come on, Mads. Every good horror story starts out with buying something fishy from the local antique store. Maybe she has a special section for items with an ancient prophecy about them.
We're specifically trying to avoid the horror story scenarios, remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess that would suck to live through. Okay, what if she lets us interview her talking cat instead? That's like a whole episode's worth of stuff right there.
The internet loves cat videos. That one could go viral.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, we should prep a list of questions for it before we get there, so we know what to say.
Ask it which brand of cat food tastes best. We can sell the video rights to that company.
Come on, I'm serious.
Wait, what?
What?
You seriously think that cat is going to talk?
Tara shrugs, looking like she never questioned the idea.
I'm just trying to be prepared.
I thought she had gotten the picture after that last interview went awry, but it seems like she's still giving Morgan some benefit of the doubt. It's not even worth arguing with her over. She'll see soon enough as it is. I check over Morgan's map again. We're definitely in the area since it says her shop is right by City Hall. The problem is, while her maps show how to get to the general area of her shop, it doesn't say which building it is. And there are several buildings that could fit.
Do you think this is the place?
It has to be.
Tara's stomach growls loudly, and her voice was more like a plea than an affirmation.
Go check.
What? Check what?
Like, go check if it's her place or not.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to just potentially walk into someone's home.
What's the big deal? If it's not her place, we can just ask for directions.
No way. Trespassing is your thing, not mine.
Yeah, you can just knock. We go back and forth like this for a while, and right before we finally decide to set it with a rock, paper, scissors, Morgan herself pokes her head out the door.
Hey, you two. I'm in here.
For the first time since she met us at the station, I'm genuinely relieved to see Morgan. Morgan holds the door open, a book under her arm and a cup of coffee in her free hand. Tara turns to me and talks in a quiet voice.
Ready to uncover some ancient treasures?
Lead on, Indiana.
She doesn't need telling twice. Tara practically dashes the rest of the way inside, nearly bumping into Morgan as she does. I nod stiffly at her as I enter more slowly. The door slams shut behind us. Morgan flips the sign on the door to closed, although it's nearly invisible from the outside. Her shop looks just about how I expected. Piles of junk are strewn across chipped shelves. Many items aren't displayed so much as they appear to have been tossed and then forgotten. A thick layer of dust covers everything. Tara is already bobbing around the store, examining some worryingly fragile ceramics. Morgan passes by her and back to the front counter, where she sets down the book she was carrying. Its title catches my eye. Complete collection of classic fairy tales. The book looks extremely old. I wonder if it's an item for sale here.
So, are you done looking around town?
If she has any guess what kind of response we got today, she doesn't show it. She's still impossible to read.
I've seen enough for today. Can we still take you up on that lunch offer?
Sure thing. I've got something on the stove already. I figured you'd be coming over soon.
Stove? Your store has a kitchen?
Yeah. I have a living space set up in the back since I sleep here most of the time. Feel free to look around. I'll be back.
She disappears behind a curtain leading to another room, leaving us surrounded by treasures. When the whole town feels like an antique, a rocking chair and a few pieces of farming equipment probably aren't the biggest draws. I'm surprised she's even able to keep the place open. Tara's enthusiasm doesn't seem to have dimmed a bit, however. She takes time to examine each piece, turning it over in her hands like she's appraising fine art.
At least one of these is probably cursed.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's probably the grandfather clock over there.
No way, that's too easy. And even if it is cursed, it's probably something lame like making your toe hair grow twice as fast. But this, well...
Tara takes an item off the counter, holding it close to her chest. It's a lamp, but the stand is 3 very realistic pigs standing on top of each other. The lampshade has these little piggies printed on it like a scripture.
This is the big leagues. You want a curse that's gonna last for generations? You use this bad boy. Hey, you think Morgan would mind if I brought my Ouija board in here?
As she says that, she puts the big lamp back in its rightful place, where it can't hurt anyone.
I wonder how that works, actually. Like, if you bring two cursed objects to the same place, do the evil spirits get into a turf war? Or do they team up to defeat humanity?
Did you seriously bring the Ouija board again?
That Ouija board has been on every single trip with us. Besides, it fits in my suitcase.
I pick up a small ornament from a shelf nearby. It's a snake made out of crystal. A Luigi board? Yes indeed. Hello, Dead Mall Angel. There's no price tag attached, if you have to ask. Morgan pulls back the curtain she went through.
Okay, food's ready.
She comes out carrying an enormous tray that's probably also an item for sale here. On the tray are steaming bowls of some kind of soup, as well as a pitcher of water and a loaf of bread. She sets the tray down on the counter, doling out portions to each of us. Hesitantly, I try a spoonful of the soup. It's delicious. It has a rich, meaty flavor, but isn't too heavy. And it's hot, but not too hot to gulp down. I dip some of the bread into the broth. That's delicious too. Everything here is definitely homemade.
This is really, really good.
Ah! This is amazing!
Thanks. Let me know if you want more.
Morgan solidly keeps eating, the praise barely seeming to register on her. It's a shame. That's probably the one nice thing I'll have to say to her all trip. Once she finished, Morgan picks up her book and starts to read again, while Tara and I are still in the middle of eating. I glance over at Tara, who is very intently staring at her spoon. She finishes her bowl and rattles the spoon around a bit.
Can I take you up on that refill?
Of course.
Without looking up, Morgan picks up her book and her bowl and heads into the back again. She emerges a moment later with a fresh serving of soup, which she wordlessly sets down in front of Tara. Only after we've both taken our last bites does she finally close the book again.
All done?
Yeah, thanks.
I'm done too. Thank you.
Let me get these out of the way then.
She hauls away all the dirty dishes before rejoining us at the counter.
So, what are your plans for the rest of the day?
I fight back the urge to tell her that she should be the one making plans for us and showing us around. At least this way, I can go back to the cabin sooner.
We're still figuring that out. We hadn't got to see you much, so we decided to come over.
Oh, right. I'm sorry about that. I'll take a couple days off starting tomorrow.
You sure? We don't want you to miss out on any business or anything.
There aren't that many customers who come through. You're the first ones all week, and you don't even count.
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to react to that, so I don't say anything.
That's too bad. You've got a lot of cool stuff. I was looking around some while you cooked.
I wouldn't get too excited. I just make up interesting stories for the items so they sound more entertaining. It helps pass the time.
Right.
Morgan says it so casually that there's no way she knows just how relieved I am to hear that. It lines up neatly with what I already suspected, that everything Morgan included in her email is even more made up than usual, and this is all a colossal waste of time. Most likely, she's a fan of the show who wants to trick us into coming out here, and we fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. If Tara has realized any of this, she of course doesn't say anything. But judging by the way her enthusiasm vanished, it seems like she's starting to get it. Again. Fiddling with some silver knick-knack, she looks up from the counter to Morgan.
So, can we see the talking cat?
As soon as Tara asks, I can see Morgan's eyes light up with interest. Her hand slides away from the book she's been about to open. Oh no.
Of course. I'm sure she'd be happy to finally meet you.
Hi VTuber lore simp, who's a good girl? Her voice wavers just the smallest bit, with what sounds like excitement. It is you! You are a good girl! It's the first shred of emotion I've detected from her since stepping off the train.
I'll go get her. Just give me 1 minute.
Morgan exits once more, but this time through an actual door instead of a curtain.
We probably could have gotten out of here without seeing the cat, you know.
Why would I want to do that? This is the pizza resistance.
She doesn't even try to pronounce it right.
Are you serious? Still? You know it's not going to actually talk, right?
I can't fathom how there's even a trace of belief rattling around in Tara's skull.
Did you see her face? She's definitely not joking. Unless she's just really bad at telling jokes.
That would be the most normal thing about her so far.
And welcome to ads. So while we wait for ads to finish, how do y'all like the story? Ugh. The story and the characters. It's going at a little bit of a slower pace than I remember, but I don't mind that. It'll give us time to build up to the more exciting stuff. You like it? That's good, Corgi. Yeah, I'm not really into, like... I'm not super into visual novels. I've done a couple... Well, like, I don't think I've ever actually played any myself, but I've seen, like, a couple playthroughs of some visual novels. And they're fine. They're kind of hit or miss for me. It's part of just, like, you know... You see no ads, that's fine. Advertise to you about Vspire. Well, we're a group called Vspire, and like we've got join the Discord. We've got a few people. You know, it's me. We've got Minra. We've got Pi. We've got Pepper, we've got Zach, and we've got Kerbal, and we're all cool people. We're kind of similar to this in a way, like, you know, we've got Paranormal here as like the thing in the visual novel where it's like, you know, they're investigating paranormal stuff. And in Vspire, we're basically a grocery store brand Scooby-Doo, where we're just like, you know, it's like there's 3 members that are like some sort of cryptid or some sort of monster or whatever, and then there's the 3 of us that are like, you know, normal humans and a puppy who's all like, you know, we're here to investigate the cryptids. So yeah, there's a kind of a parallel here. Minera does do a good Shaggy impression, and I do a decent Scooby impression. Retro Raggy. Ruby Ruby Roo. But yeah. And ads are gonna end right about now, and we can get back to the story.
She just told you flat out that she makes up stories and tries to get other people to believe her. How can you not see that we're getting scammed too?
Come on, Mads. Try to have at least a little bit of faith.
The door opens once more, and out strides Morgan. There's also the soft sound of little kitty feet on the hard wooden floor. Morgan's supposed talking cat emerges. She's a fluffy white cat with bright blue eyes. Talking or not, the cat staring up at me is undeniably beautiful. Its white fur seemingly glistens like snow, and its eyes are a piercing azure blue. Tara leaps from her seat and crashes to her knees. The cat doesn't flinch at all despite the commotion.
Oh my god, I love her! I love her so much!
She looks up at Morgan, eyes as wide as dinner plates and fingers wriggling.
Can I pet her? Please tell me I can pet her.
Jailadora, can she pet you?
The cat doesn't say anything, of course. It does rub against Tara's waiting hand, though, causing her to let out some sort of mix between a coo and a sob. I can tell Kara just got her money's worth out of the trip.
Go on, say something. These are the two I've been telling you about. Tara, Maddie.
Morgan gestures as if introducing us to her. She looks between the cat and us expectantly. Seeing its master's attention, the cat goes from nuzzling Tara's hand to nuzzling Morgan's leg close by. She meows happily. The cat, not Morgan.
Come on. You're going to make me look like an idiot if you don't say something.
Morgan uses her foot to nudge the cat towards Tara, who's still crumpled on the floor. The cat indignantly tries to escape, her claws scraping uselessly against the wood. Finally, Jailadora scurries away, sitting down and licking a paw. Her tail swishes rapidly as she and Morgan stare at each other. And then, absolutely nothing. What a surprise. I'm not even disappointed. Just vindicated. Even Tara's enthusiasm is gone. She coos at the cat half-heartedly, but overall she's just trying to give Morgan an out.
Come on, Jailadora, they're waiting.
It's like watching a car wreck. I can't look away. Morgan sticks to her act, scowling at the wholly mundane cat. It doesn't seem to faze Jailadora, who simply yawns and settles down on the floor, just out of Tara's arm reach. Whatever previous excitement she had just about evaporated, and is instead replaced with some kind of mixed frustration. That's when I start to realize a horrifying truth. She finally looks away from us, twisting her fingers together and gritting her teeth. When it seems like she's decided on what to say, she turns back to us.
I'm sorry. I don't know why she's being so stubborn.
Well, you know how cats are.
Kara manages an extremely fake laugh as she gets up and steps closer to me. Tara was right about one thing after all. Morgan wasn't lying to us. But now Tara's realizing what she was wrong about. Morgan's also crazy. It doesn't seem like she's acting. It seems like Morgan's genuinely shocked that her cat didn't greet us by name.
She talks to me all the time. I told her you two are trustworthy. That should be enough.
It's fine. I'm sure she's just shy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she just met us. We've got plenty of time for her to warm up to us, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. We should probably just give her some space for now and try again later. Maybe in a few days.
At this point, I don't care. It's a good thing I've played along with everything so far because it allows us to make a diplomatic exit.
I guess you're right. Still, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. She'll get over herself soon enough.
She glowers at the cat, who's still napping peacefully.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Tara steps back away from the counter and into the display area, again.
Anyway, thanks for lunch, Morgan. We really appreciate it.
We, have a couple more places we want to check out today, so we'll probably head out again.
Okay, come back here when you want to ride back to the cabin.
Her expression is back to unreadable.
Right, sure. Thanks so much. Good to meet you, Gelato.
Tara waves at Geladura, whose ears twitch but otherwise can't be bothered to acknowledge us. The heavy door slams shut behind us as we step into the cold. I wonder if Morgan will remember to switch the sign back the other way. Outside, the wind has picked up a bit, and there are clouds starting to close in. The nice day that has been shaping up seems like it might not happen.
Alright, so I'll admit that was kind of awkward. For everyone involved.
Great, I'm glad you can admit it. That doesn't help us any.
Next time we see her, we just won't bring up the cat. Hopefully she won't either. We can just pretend it didn't happen.
Next time? What do you think is going to happen next time? That she was saving the good cryptids for the second time we hang out?
We can ask her about the spirit or the lights, that kind of thing. We get some spooky shots of the woods and we're golden. We are pros at making that kind of content interesting.
Usually we have at least something to work with. She made it up. There is no dark side to this sleepy, boring mountain town. It's just a boring mountain town, and she pretty much straight up admitted to that. I don't get how you aren't as upset about this as I am. We just spent thousands of dollars to fly across the whole world for a month. And the person who invited us out here is either a liar or a lunatic.
It's only been a day, Mads. We've only seen a fraction of what there is to see around here. Just give it some time, all right?
It's been a day, and look where that got us already. Literally every single person we talked to told us to stay away from Morgan, and then we saw it for ourselves. How are you not pissed off about this?
Tara shrugs.
Don't you think you're being a bit harsh on Morgan? She's been super cool with us. Like, okay, yeah, the cat thing was weird, but it's not like she tried to hurt us or anything.
I start to shake my head, forcing myself to cool off. I keep getting too worked up over this. I can't tell if Tara's been intentionally stubborn or what. But technically, she's the one who bankrolled this whole trip, and I'm still getting paid for my time here. So, if she's not upset about wasting all that, then fine. I'll meet her at the train station in a month, and she can do what she wants. I don't need to get so bent out of shape.
Okay, you're right. Maybe she's fine. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the cabin. Are you coming with me?
Wait, already?
Yeah, I've got enough to get started. Plus, I need to unpack.
Oh, okay. You gonna ask Morgan to hitch up the carriage?
No, it's fine. I'll walk.
You sure?
Yeah, I seriously don't think I could get lost in this place anymore.
She seems uncertain, probably because of my sudden mood swing.
Okay, I'll probably do another lap around the village. Maybe get Morgan's input on some stuff.
Okay. See you later then.
See ya.
I turn and walk away so I don't have to see her staring like a lost puppy. She'll get over it. Oh, little puppy. Oh, lost puppy. It's okay, puppy. It's okay. As I head through town and back towards the path that will lead me to the cabin, I walk fast and look down for most of the way. Nobody tries to stop me or talk to me, and if anyone's staring, then I don't catch it. The trip back to the cabin is easy, even though it takes me around half an hour on foot. Yawn. If nothing else, I should be in pretty good shape from all the walking by the end of the trip. I spent the whole walk fantasizing about home. My comfy bed, my film collection, our cat BT. Well, technically he's Tara's cat, but I take care of him most of the time. Speaking of cats, I wonder how Tara will explain to Morgan why she's on her own. Well, that's her problem, not mine. Alright, I think that's a good place to stop it. My voice is getting tired from all the reading, and we're approaching the 3-hour mark. So, I hope you're all enjoying the story. I'm having a great time with this. Like I said, this visual novel has like a special place in my heart, and like I'd never played it before myself, and now I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time playing through it. So, yeah, this has been Heart of the Woods. Definitely give it a, like, if you're interested in the story yourself, definitely check it out. It's on Steam. And yeah, I'm excited to keep continuing with this. I'm pretty captivated by the story. It goes at a pretty good pace, even if it is a little bit slow at the start. Like, I'm still pretty captivated by it. So, anyway, be sure to check out all my links for all the places you can find me. Definitely check out the V-Spire Discord. We posted about it earlier, but join the V-Spire Discord if you want to see more V-Spire stuff, see more of the other people that are involved in my little group that I'm a part of. I'm captivated by you as well, Corgi. You're adorable. I have my own Discord, which you can join. I'm working it out with, I need to get back to hanging out in there. I did a lot of hanging out in there, and then I took a week off, and now, yeah, I need to hang out there more. Cool people. Speaking of things I need to get back to, I need to get back to practicing art. Oh well. Anyway, let me see who is currently live. Who can we send a raid to? There's actually quite a few people streaming. I think... Yeah, I think we're gonna send our love to Kay, who is a person that is not a VTuber, but she's cool, and I like her. She's fun, and I maybe have a bit of a crush on her, but that's pretty common with girls. Anyway, though, yeah, let's send our raid to Kay, and yes, their corgi right there posted in our raid message, which you can copy and paste or type it in yourself. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!